3, 2, 1, and now we're in part 2 because there was technical difficulties and it sucks.
Lots of them.
Okay, Ty, you can turn off your video. Obviously, 4 people is screwing with everything.
Okay.
Of course, we blame Danny.
Yeah.
It's all his fault.
Danny did it.
So, last thing we were talking about was Freedom Planet.
Yes, we were just talking about Freedom Planet. I was. So, I literally have no idea the order that I was talking about things in now. Like,
no, we lost 15 odd minutes. I've got no clue.
So I think did I talk about Extreme Exorcism before or after?
I think it was all the little indie games.
Well, yeah, that's a given.
Yeah,
I think you talked about just Exorcism. You haven't talked about that yet in this alternate timeline.
Oh god, that was such a complicated explanation as well. Okay. Anyway,
bottom line it.
Extreme Exorcism. Ty, I think you'd like it. It's kind of like Braid. It's got time loops. Yeah.
I'll enjoy time loops based on this segment.
Yeah, you can't play it on the gamepad. You need the TV for it. But it's a great game, and one of my favorites of these 9. Rive. Hopefully I talked about that. I really like that one. I think I talked about that one. Yes, I did. Typo Man. I like that as well. It's a 2D scrolling puzzle platformer type game where you spell words out using letters in the environment.
Like Scribble Knots, except you find the letters.
And you have to kind of monotonously drag the letters across the screen to spell things.
Yeah, like, I was on board with the idea until you mentioned you actually have to move the letters around. I can see that getting super tedious.
I think maybe that's a way of kind of dragging out the length of the game, possibly. Obviously, I think it's a Wii U exclusive, so it's a game. Everybody's got a gamepad, right? You can spell things on the gamepad, right? But
yeah, man. Why is Scribblenauts not on the Wii U?
It is.
Then good job.
It's called Scribblenauts Unlimited, I think. It's got like Mario characters and stuff.
Unmasked, which is the DC one.
There you go. Get on it, Sai.
I retract my complaints.
As you should.
Also, shout-outs to both of them having a U in their title. Good job, marketing peeps.
Unlimited and... Oh, right, yeah. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, good selection of indie games there. Fantastic. Woo! Go play them if you have them. I don't think they're available anymore. I think you have to download them during E3.
Yep.
So yeah, hopefully you had them and you played them. That's great. I think I think they should do more of this. I think it's a great idea, like releasing games that were at an event. If you can't go to that event, being able to play them at home. Kind of like how you could play Mario Maker in Best Buys. Would have been great if you could play Mario Maker at home, but whatever.
They don't have a Nintendo Power Grip to guide you. How would you possibly know how to play it? Good
question. Good question. I know I would be lost completely.
What button is jumped?
So the next, So anyway, next part of my new business is an arcade game, arcade location test, which obviously Ty knew about.
Yeah, I know about all of them.
You know about all the location tests, right?
Yeah.
You knew about Sonic's Paralympic Games, right?
Wait, what?
I added the para bit because it's not quite a good game. It's kind of like a pretendy Olympics game. So...
That's some controversial statements right there.
Yeah, can I just retract that statement?
I don't know. There's a big yellow live button up there that says different.
Basically, Sonic's Olympic... what's it called? Mario and
Sonic at the 2016 Rio Olympic Games?
Yeah. I think it's the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, actually. Not that it makes a difference.
So
but anyway, yeah. So I found out about this location. See, that's why we had you on the Famicast.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, basically this location test, it was advertised about a month ago. I added it to my calendar, and because I work right next to Akihabara, I could get there like basically after work. So I popped by. There was nobody there apart from a few kids and an Australian guy in his flip-flops playing it and enjoying it. Well, I think they're enjoying it.
How do you play this game?
You control it with massive joysticks. And when I say massive, I mean probably about 30 to 40 centimeters long. So, you know, you have to be like, you know, basically Godzilla to control this thing.
So what, are they like ski poles, or what are they?
I think that's what they're trying to be like, except I saw the kid playing the hammer throw, and he was like spinning them manically, and then and then also archery. So
okay,
archery.
I think we kind of sit down and talk with Nintendo about how archery works, but
yeah, how did he do archery? I think just kind of like aimed with one of them and then pulled back with the other one.
Yeah, see, there's all sorts of things wrong with that technique.
Yeah, it was kind of stupid. And although there was a hammer throwing one that kind of made the most sense, right? Because you're spinning it around and then letting go. The javelin one, I think you kind of like wanked it back and forth for a bit, and then and then you kind of like pulled the other one back to tilt it or something.
Double wank action.
Yeah. And you got a free suite if you played it, because, you know, it's a location test, right? You know, please like our game or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, if you want to see a video of that, go to my YouTube channel and enjoy watching an Australian guy in his flip-flops running like a maniac, pretending to be Sonic.
Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was going to talk about the Rhythm Tengoku demo, but I think if Syrenne is going to talk about the actual Rhythm Tengoku, I think it's better just to hear about the full game from her. But now we're going to move on to Sairus, because I know he's dying to talk about POKKEN Tournament.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, Ty as well, right? Sorry, yeah, both of you.
Yeah, we're going to tag team this. This is going to be a 2-on-2 battle.
Do it.
POKKEN Tag Team Tournament.
Yeah, so for those somehow unaware of this game, POKKEN Tournament is like, it's the Pokemon fighting game that everyone has been dreaming about since they first played Red. And
or Blue.
Or Blue, or Green, whichever, if you want to be all fancy. Red was the best one, it had Charizard. But so we talked about this before on the location test we went to a few months back. And so just we'll do like a quick recap just so you know what we're talking about. And so in POKKEN Tournament, it's kind of a really weird hybrid of two different games where... Hello?
Hello?
Okay,
Hello.
yeah, I wasn't sure. Sometimes my computer just dies and I wasn't sure. It was very quiet.
We're kind of listening to you.
Yeah. So the idea is you've got one half of the battle takes place like an over-the-shoulder camera. And I think this is supposed to like replicate an actual Pokemon game, where you've got the camera kind of over the shoulder of your Pokemon, and you can see the other guy in the distance. And these parts of the game handle like a full 3D fighting game, like Naruto or the Dragon Ball games, where you run around the screen, you've got all these crazy jumping and dodging mechanics and big projectiles. And then when you get close to them, you can use different attacks to switch it from a big 3D open brawler into like a side-on Tekken fighting game.
Crazy.
Yeah, so what did you think of that, Ty, having two totally different games in one?
It's okay. It's
Praise indeed.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, you know, it doesn't make or break the game, and it's not something that hasn't been done before.
It's no Killer Instinct.
It's fine. This is fine.
Yeah, I think based on like from the location test, I seem to remember it being very confusing when it switched between like long distance play and short distance play.
Are there any changes that you noticed?
Yeah, this is one of them. I think that in the location test, it just seemed to happen as you got closer to the opponent. It would switch between the 3D fighter and the 2D fighter. But in the build in the arcade that we were playing, it just you have to trigger certain attacks will switch you between. So if you do a certain amount of damage, it will switch the battle from 2D to 3D or back and forth.
Did you guys play together against each other, or?
No.
Nope.
But you went there at the same time?
We were possibly at different arcades at the same time.
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually went to 2 different arcades.
Yeah, I was in a 2 or 3 too.
Okay. I just assumed that you guys were going to meet up and talk about Pokemon.
Yeah.
Nah, that would imply we were actually friends.
Never actually met in real life.
Yeah, so that was one thing I thought they changed was that, and there's this big, huge indicator on the screen that tells you that the game is switching from 2D to 3D. So it's really hard to miss which mode you're in now, whereas it was confusing at the location test.
That is weird. So, has it got the Amiibo NFC button on the side or whatever?
No, it does have an NFC reader, like I mentioned. So with all fighting games, or not all fighting games, most arcade games in Japan, you can buy these little like profile cards. It's about the size of a credit card. It's like thick, hard plastic. And when you play the game, you swipe your profile card on the cabinet, and it'll download your information, like your profile name, how many wins you've got, any in-game currency you've unlocked, blah blah blah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so it's
keeps them
cool.
coming back.
It definitely does. I think it's a really cool idea, and it allows you to do stuff like alternate colors and costumes in the game really efficiently, which is kind of nice. But,
You'd have to input your name every time.
Yes, that too. But this is my big point with POKKEN Tournament that I goddamn hate, was that as you're playing the game, 2 points, and I'm sure one of these will annoy Ty too, is that as you play the game, as you win matches, your Pokemon gains experience, like in actual games, and your Pokemon will level up. And as he levels up, you can improve his stats in either close attack, fire attack, his super mode, and assist Pokemon. You can power up these 4 stats, which, from a competitive point of view, customizing
This kills the game.
This utterly 100% is bad.
Yep.
Because it means my Pikachu is unbalanced compared to your Charizard or whatever. Because, where's the fun in me fighting with my level 20 Pikachu versus your level 1 Charizard if my stats are going to be all over the place?
This kills the game.
So they Pokemoned it.
Yes.
So is this the only way to play it?
So you can play the game normally. If you've got no profile card, you can pick. You can play it as normal as like a level 0 Pokemon, which is fine. And if I was running a tournament, I'd love to do it like that. Except to make sure that you buy a profile card, you can't use all of the assist Pokemon until you level up your guy. So, for example, in the middle of the game, you can you pick your main Pokemon, like say I pick Charizard, and I play as Charizard, he's my main dude. And as the game goes on, I charge up my assist meter, and I can call in another Pokemon to help me. But, so before the battle starts, you pick from a set of assist Pokemon too. And you only unlock all the assist Pokemon as you level up your main Pokemon.
So tournaments are only going to be either fully maxed out people or level 0 people.
Yes, and if you have a level 0 guys, you won't be able to choose all of the assists. So that breaks it. Because the assists are really important.
This kills the game.
It's just such an infuriating thing that they would do. That they would add in this required leveling up system into the game.
It's funny because the other kids kind of arcade games like the Yokai Watch ones or the other Pokemon ones, Pokemon Treta or whatever, they're all very much single player, aren't they? Like you bring your battle chips and your battle card and you fight against.
Right. This is a great system for like a single player or a cooperative game.
But a versus game, that's kind of like a bit of a silly thing to do, isn't it?
Yes,
It
really,
kills
really
the
is.
game.
Like-
Cyrus, how many people did you see playing Pokken at the arcades you went to?
And this is really, really bad. I only saw, like, on the first day there was a line of like 6 people to get to play the machine, and then the next day I was always able to find an empty cabinet every time I went after that.
Yeah, I had the same experience, and so did my other friend who went to go and play it. Like, it was like just dead on arrival. Nobody is playing this game.
Which
Yeah.
which days are you going though?
I went weekday and weekend, so
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I went on Thursday. I think my buddy went on the weekend.
Because kids only go to arcades on the weekend, right?
yeah. And this is summer vacation time. in
Oh,
Japan
yeah, that's
right
true.
now. So this would be like the prime time where kids would be running out to the arcade, like.
Actually, maybe I should have mentioned that during my Sonic and Olympic talk, because that was also on a national holiday during the summer vacation, and yeah, there was nobody playing it other than those 2 kids and the Australian guy, who I think was just drunk and just walked past it and just thought, I'll have a go at that. But yeah.
I mean, that competitive leveling up system sounds like it could be inverted for a potential console version, but for the base game in the arcades, that just seems like a completely misguided idea.
Yeah, but like in the home console, yes, that's perfect, amazing. Like I would totally be behind that. And in the arcade, I'm fine with them having it too. Like having a leveling up system is cool, but don't require me to use it if I want to play as all of the Pokemon.
I'm just gonna go ahead and disagree and say it's bad altogether on all accounts.
Yeah, I'm trying to be silver lining here, but
Don't even try. Just go.
Because I'm gonna really lay it on the next point, which is so aside from the gameplay thing, like in the game you play as your Pokemon trainer, the usual Pokemon stuff, and so on your profile card you have your trainer saved, so you choose if are you a boy or are you a girl, and then you can start customizing your guy. So as you play the game, you unlock new clothes and new accessories for your trainer. And this is a pretty standard thing in a lot of fighting games, is as you play them, you earn money. Then you can use that money to buy alternate costumes or to buy glasses for your Persona characters or whatever. And in Pokemon, I was like, okay, cool, I'm all aboard for this. So I got my profile card. I spent like an hour setting it up on the internet. Got my parents to help me, and then I was really confused because every time I tried to equip some of the items I had already unlocked in the game. So as you win battles, you unlock new clothes, you earn new money, and you're only able to customize your character once you pay for a premium membership on this profile card, which is 300 yen per month.
My God.
Wow, did they seriously do that? I'm so glad I didn't buy a card.
I couldn't believe it when I was doing this. It's like I'm paying 100 yen.
Oh, wait, you can't believe this as you were doing it.
As I was doing it. So like I paid 100 yen, I play my game. I've paid 500 yen to buy this profile card in the arcade.
Is it a nice profile card?
My one's pretty beat up and crappy because you can use this profile card in a bunch of games. So I use it in Taiko no Tatsujin, the Taiko drumming game. I use it in a bunch of stuff. I think Tekken uses it too.
Yeah.
So,
By the way, I was doing the exact same thing on Tekken 5 in 2006 here in Japan, and it didn't cost me 300 yen a month.
And that's the thing, is like I have a Street Fighter card that I level up my Street Fighter guys. Not level them up, I buy new costumes, new colors.
No, you level him up.
And sustain your ranking.
Yeah, and my KDR is there for all to see on my card. And same in Tekken. It's just a thing. You unlock stuff on your card. It's to keep you coming back. But then this game also has a 300 yen premium membership charge that you have to pay in addition to unlocking the clothes that you're paying 100 yen per turn to unlock stuff in. And it's bonkers. How they thought this was a good idea, I don't know.
Because they thought people would pay.
And I really want to find out if people will pay. I paid 300 yen to see what this thing actually did. So currently, I have a premium membership for 30 days.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you spend a lot of time in arcades, which I don't think anyone listening to this podcast does.
They
Unless
should make some lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it must be nice to hear. You know, people are probably thinking, that takes me back to the 1980s.
When I had my profile card and I swiped it on my Donkey Kong machine and unlocked new colors for Jumpman.
Yeah, good times. Excellent. So I guess is that it for Pokken?
My final verdict on Pokken, I enjoy the fighting game part of it. I think it's actually pretty interesting and fun because it's so weird. But everything else sucks so badly. It's terrible.
Okay.
Like the game
False
went
quote.
from fun to ruined between the location test and the final version.
So maybe this is maybe they're basing it too much on the fact that this will probably be a console game eventually.
Yeah, all this
It
stuff.
does sound like a console game.
It is a console game in an arcade. Like that leveling up stuff, 100% a console feature.
So if you can level up, at home and then use that profile online, then
That's
that would be
still
fine,
a bad feature to have in a home console game. Just saying. Nobody else has said it, but I'm saying it.
Yeah. But it's something for people to enjoy who don't have friends.
I want to bop them in the head with this microphone.
I hear that.
Okay. So yeah, Pokken available soon in all good arcades around the world.
So yeah, that game will be good when it hits consoles. For now, it annoys me a lot.
Maybe. Dead or on arrival in arcades.
Okay, so next up for new business, I guess Ty, have you got anything else to talk about other than Pokken?
Yeah, baby. Well, I want to add something on the Pokken. Fingers crossed for like a really fast arcade revision after they look at some numbers and see that they're not going to be good.
Pokken
Right.
Tag Tournament 3 or whatever? Right.
Yeah, it'll just call it POKKEN Turbo, and add some new characters and fix everything that's wrong with the game in an ideal world. We'll see.
Oh yeah, and also to mention that currently the game I think has like 8 characters.
Yeah.
I think it's 8, and but I think next month they're going to be adding their first addition to the roster. So Blaziken, the chicken kung fu guy.
Yeah, the optimist in me says, that this is going to be a revision that's going to be out for not very long, so we'll try this experimental leveling system and stuff, see how it goes.
Well, the leveling system ain't going anywhere, dude. That is there for the long run.
I hope not. I hope not.
I have one question. Is Heihachi overpowered?
I don't know what the tiers are going to be. We're going to have to...
I've only
Hold
fought
off.
2 Pikachus. Who was the most? I think the one Suicune I fought, the legendary dog, like the ice dog guy.
Yeah.
The one guy I played with him thrashed me so hard people were laughing at me in the arcade.
I wonder if I
sounds
played
good.
the same guy, because
No.
that seems to be the choice of pros right now.
Yeah, so because I lost to that character once, I'm going to say he's totally overpowered.
Scrub
Yeah.
quotes. Right.
Yeah, we'll see if some tournaments happen for this game, but I don't know.
So Ty, anything else?
Yeah, after I played Pokken, I played another fighting game that caught my eye, Nitro Plus Blasters. Now let me tell you what this game is. It's another anime air dashing Guilty Gear knockoff game, starring exclusively anime waifus.
Okay. So this is on what? This is on the X-Bomb?
This is an arcade game.
Okay.
It's actually getting a USA release on, I think, PS3 and PS4, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
For anyone wanting to check the caliber of waifu in this game, do a search for Super Sonico, but make sure you don't have any workmates or parents nearby.
Yeah. Okay, this is like one of the most absurd casts I've seen in a fighting game since the Les Les Miserables fighting game.
What?
What? Okay. So Nitro Plus Blasters just has like all these random anime girls, and like I could only name like 3 of them. It's seriously how bonkers this cast is. So I actually played it and I liked it a lot, and I connected with how my choice character plays really quickly, and had a good time. My choice character being Saya from somewhat popular visual novel Seiya no Uta. Right? Yeah, let me tell you about my visual novel girl in this 2D fighting game. Right?
Thanks,
And
Japan.
I guess Super Sonica was console exclusive, or she's going to be available when the console version comes out. I mean, I don't even know where to start with this game, but I had fun. Seiya has like a lot of cheap keep away moves and teleports, and that's my kind of character. I even beat a couple people my first time playing it because it felt basically close to Guilty Gear and Persona. I don't even think this game didn't even seem like a big budget game or anything. It's just like 2D anime fighting game. But like I said, the cast is nuts, and I urge you to check it out. It's actually very surprisingly getting a U.S. release, so check that out. Yeah, it was on Shoryuken like a month ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Will it be heavily edited for the Western market?
I don't know what you're gonna edit.
As interesting as its source characters are, there's nothing that needs to be edited out of the game.
Maybe some sketchy translations.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Like, this ain't no Vanguard Princess, which actually was censored when it was released over here. And you can download the DLC uncensored pack if you want. But,
No, but no.
I hope they censor out the anime cutscene 99 hit combos. Those get old after 2 or 3 times.
Ultra.
Right? But
there's no birthdays that need to be amended to make girls, older than 14 or whatever.
Man, fighting games, they have a storied past.
Okay, yeah, but all right, it's goofy as hell, but the way it plays is really fun. It felt really, really crisp, really good. So that's about all I have to say about Nitro Plus Blasters.
Awesome.
Are you honestly going to talk about Perfect Dark Zero next?
Yeah, I'll try to keep it short.
No. Okay.
Well, Rare Replay is coming out in like 2 weeks from this recording.
Can't you just wait for that? Jesus.
Yeah, but okay, so achievements-wise, like, yeah, all the games that were ported to 360, like the achievements carry over. It's basically like a big set.
So you're getting ahead of yourself. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get a head start in case I try to get all these. And holy macaroni, Perfect Dark Zero is grindy as heck. Like, so there's like beating there's beating all the missions, on single player and co-op. But then most of the achievements are multiplayer, and they're like these it's like a lot of do 1,000 things, or do a thing 1,000 times, really. So on Saturday, I got 1,000 melee kills. Today, Sunday, I got 1,000 headshots, 1,000 sniper kills, 1,000 kills in team multiplayer. Just
they had that in the original Perfect Dark, like to get certain levels. I remember that. In multiplayer, I remember setting up like bots where you could just snipe them and get those easy kills.
Right, like, yeah, the original Perfect Dark had this really weird system where there were like 4 medals you could get, like
Yeah.
4 different stars.
Right.
And like 3 of them were like easy, you would just get by playing normally, and one was like an accuracy one that you'd only get by getting above 50% accuracy, which was basically impossible unless you were, rigging it or maybe playing with explosives only.
True story about Perfect Dark Zero. I went to college with a guy. We kind of like grew up together in the same area. We went to sixth form college, which is a foreign word to any Americans listening.
Right.
And we did like computer programming course together. He was like an A-star student. I was a C/D, possibly lower star grade student. I'm terrible at programming. And he went on to work for Rare in the golden days. But actually it was more like the end of the golden days / beginning of the Microsoft takeover. So he actually worked on the Nintendo version of Perfect Dark, the Perfect Dark sequel, for a short while. And then he stayed on for a little while Microsoft, the transition to Microsoft, and he worked on the version that you're playing. I don't know if his name would be in the credits because he left before, maybe like just before the game was published, or like around about that time.
Interesting.
To go and work for Rockstar, actually.
Good
So,
choice.
yeah.
Good choice.
Good times, yeah.
Yeah. So revisiting this game. By the way, I claim to be one of the world's greatest players of Nintendo 64 Perfect Dark. Y'all should see me sometime.
Make a video.
Claim to be it all you want.
Yeah. So Perfect Dark Zero. It feels very much like it. Well, it might have been rushed a little bit, like being in a 360 launch title, but from like a design perspective, it feels like very much a product of its time. Where I don't know, like Halo started influencing all these other first-person shooters in weird ways, like the regenerating health system and slow movement, and I don't think those are a good fit for Perfect Dark. Like, so Nintendo 64 Perfect Dark, and as an aside, also GoldenEye, had very fast character movement, and that was totally gone in Perfect Dark Zero. In Perfect Dark Zero, you move really sluggishly.
That's no joke, Joanna.
I know, right? Holy shit.
I'm a voice actress. No, seriously.
Okay. And they added a cover system. I guess maybe kind of sort of inspired by Gears of War, but in a multiplayer game, it's not very useful because it kind of immobilizes you. And I kind of feel like they made the game slower to make it more viable, which I think was a mistake. So,
all I remember about Perfect Dark Zero is like it kind of made the Rare transfer to Microsoft kind of like that bitter pill easier to swallow. I was like, whew, kind of dodged a bullet there.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a great game, but it does have some good points. Like, right, the infection mode in multiplayer is really well executed and it's super fun. You might remember that as how do I explain this?
Infection.
Yeah, they had a similar mode in the Halo games, like
So you're passing something on to somebody.
Sort of like all the players are alive, and you'll start with like 1 or 2 or 3 players who appear as spooky glowing skeletons, and if you get killed by them, you join their side, and in either case, you get points by killing the other team. And, I don't know how to explain it beyond that, but it's fun.
Are the skeletons based on the X-ray scope kind of thing?
The X-ray scope thing?
Don't they have a gun? Well, they had it. I don't think they had skeletons in the N64 version, but like where
Yeah.
the far sight.
Yeah. By the way, I claim to be the world's greatest user of the far sight.
Yeah.
I have people that'll back this up.
Auto aim
No.
on or off?
Well, I play with auto aim off, but the Farsight has two firing modes. One where you manually target and one where you automatically target.
Right.
And what you do is you just tap. You just hold the auto target for 1 second, and then your aim will slowly move in the direction of the person, and then you untarget, and then you manually move your reticule in that direction because it's much faster.
Right.
So you're doing this highly technical thing where you're swapping between firing modes.
Yeah, I remember doing something like that. Like, and if you have auto aim on, it kind of like flicks in the general direction of the person. So that's another way to do it.
Yeah, well, I never played with auto aim because I'm not a dumb baby. But yeah, Perfect Dark Zero, not really a good game, but it has its upsides, and hopefully I'll grind all that stuff out before Rare Replay drops. Looking forward to going ham on Blast Core and Battletoads.
Oh, Blast Core! Can't wait to hear you talk about that.
I can't wait. That was like the very first game I reviewed for N64 HQ, which is like the forerunner for Nintendo World Report.
Right.
Back in '96. Well, '97 is when Blast Core came out, but yeah. Good memories, good memories. I've been doing this shit for 20 years. Oh my god.
It's a long time.
Very poorly for 20 years.
Yeah, I'm a fraud.
So next, we're saving the best for last. The special guest. It's me again. No, I'm kidding. It's Syrenne, of course. Syrenne, you have a list of about 120 Japanese games here. Why don't you choose a couple to talk about?
Yeah. Anything on there that jumps out to you guys?
Well, tell me about Persona 4 Dance Hall Night.
Oh, ignore what he said. Rhythm Tengoku is what we should start with, right? That's what.
Sure. They're both rhythm games.
Danny liked it, I think.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best, if not the best, entry into the Rhythm Heaven series. It starts out way easier than any of the previous games because one of the biggest criticisms people had, especially like Rhythm Heaven Fever, was that if you don't get the first game or two, just like those specific rhythms don't click with you, you just can't see the rest of the entire game because it's so merciless. So they start off easy, and on the bottom screen, they actually use little firework animations to show you where you're hitting within its margin of error. So it'll tell you if you're being too early or too late, so you can adjust your rhythm for it.
Yeah, this is in the demo which I played.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then it has over 70 old games and over 30 new games, including remixes. And then there's a ton of unlockable older games. And then once you've gone through everything, you can start onto the post game, which is this sort of train challenge where you go in and it'll say, okay, here are 4 different mini games. We're going to double the tempo for all of them, and on the first one, you can only make 1 mistake. On the second one, you have to get a score of 90% or higher. On the third one, the screen is constantly going to get smaller until a monster eats it, and that's your fail state. And in order to make the screen bigger and pull it away from the monster, you have to hit absolutely perfect in the margin of error.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So, and then you start getting sets of like 8 different mini games, some of which are like the hardest in the game at double speed, where you can't make errors. and then eventually some of them start randomly having WarioWare graphics instead, because it's the same team. So you'll start seeing characters like Wario Man and Ashley doing doing the same mini games, and it just gets crazier and crazier and crazier, and I really, really love it.
So how far are you in completing it?
I have 100%ed every single thing in the game except for the one final train challenge.
God, get good.
That last one, if anyone remembers the game Lockstep or Backbeat from Rhythm Heaven on DS, where you had the white and black colored people on a pink background, and the rhythm would basically go on, off, on, etc.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know, it's like 2 minutes long, and you have to hit every single beat and offbeat. It's basically do that 4 times at increasing difficulty perfectly in a row.
Cool.
Good luck.
And
good luck with that.
yeah, I think that's the one that I'm going to sort of hang my hat on and just say, you know what? I've done literally everything else in this game. There's a built-in achievement system. I have all of the achievements except for that one.
Ty,
no.
are you man enough to play this game?
Yeah, I'm a grizzled music game champion too, by the way.
Yeah, I can hear him grinding his teeth at that. I have all the achievements except this one. It's like
Right.
Ty's worst nightmare. And I'll just leave it. I don't need that last achievement. Now Ty is not going to be able to sleep for weeks.
Right.
Well, it's not like there's a gamer score or platinums associated with this. So.
I can't share it online.
What's the point?
There's Miiverse. There is Miiverse.
Yeah, you can write it on Smash Bros. I got all the levels in rhythm.
Yeah.
So to continue the rubbing salt in Ty's eyes, should we talk about Gyakuten Saiban?
Please.
Sure. Yeah. Daigyakuten Saiban, Ryanosuke no Boken, I believe is the full name. I think I'm missing a word there.
AKA.
I will just never get
AKA
tired of them.
I guess the English name is sort of The Great Ace Attorney.
Right.
Which, yeah, here's the thing. This game has not... Capcom hasn't said a word about this game coming over or not coming over into English territories. And on the side of they should bring it over, it's a very good game. It's one of the best most memorable Ace Attorney games in the series, and it's one of the best-looking, most stylishly animated games on the entire 3DS. But
Nice.
the whole point is you're going from Japan into London, and a recurring plot point is people speaking English.
In England? Say it ain't so.
Well,
you just swap
even
it over and say that he speaks American English and they're speaking like Cockney British voices and no one can understand them.
You
well,
what?
in the first case, there's a character who, for the bulk of it, the point is she speaks English but not Japanese, and so she has to speak through an interpreter. But she'll occasionally just go out into outbursts, and she'll just shout "Shut up" in English, and then just start ranting in fully fluent English sentences. And it's just and like the joke is supposed to be, yeah, no one understands this, but coming from me, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a little bit easier to read in the Japanese. But then, yeah, it goes back into then there's like this, they play it off as this gag, and they move on, and it keeps coming up to the point where I'm just looking at it thinking, man, you guys really did not give a shit about this, whether this game is going to come over or not, especially because it takes place during the Meiji Restoration, and the opening lines of the game are basically, think back to what you know of the Meiji Restoration.
Ah, yes. Let's think back to our history classes.
The first thing I thought when I saw this game was that the team were like thinking about how many hoops the American teams have been going through to try and make it sound like the the regular Ace Attorney games are set in America.
Yeah.
Where they're talking about like all the traditional Japanese stuff. Like, oh, that's Japantown, and the Yakuza. Oh yeah, the Yakuza came over from Japantown.
Yeah, but
And
no.
this game was just made specifically to make their lives as difficult as possible.
My
There-
favorite was like the ancient Shinto village in
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yes.
the American heartland.
No, my
Yokai craze really is something.
yeah. Remember what a yokai is? No. Who cares? Let's move on.
So
But-
can't they just flip it? You know, just like English
Yeah,
people
they do
speaking
that
Japanese.
Just change it to blah 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 blah. Problem
The-
solved.
And just for those listening who are saying like, oh well, it's an Ace Attorney game, they have to bring it over. The sequel, like one of the what's his name, Edgeworth.
yeah, Miles Edgeworth 2 never came over.
Yeah, so the sequel to his own investigations game is Japan only. So there is a track record for them deciding to just go.
Yeah, I was thinking that the whole time. I bought that, and I think the Japanese in that one is a little over my head. It's rough.
There is a full fan translation for it that I plan on checking out at some point.
I managed to get through it, but it was a bit complex. This is unbelievable because guess what? Amazing writer decided, let's pull out some kanji that hasn't been used since the 18th and 19th centuries.
That's pretty authentic writing right there.
Yeah, for 200 to 300 years. But, like, things that aren't going to play over, like, the protagonist is this tradition, like, the protagonist's companion is this traditional sort of subservient Japanese youth wearing a yukata with like hair tie, like traditional hair ties, who fantasizes about Europe because she reads a bunch of foreign mystery novels. Like, this is almost as Japan as you can get.
Wow.
Also, Sherlock Holmes is the main detective, and this is one of the weirdest portrayals of the character I've ever seen.
Go on.
It's pretty much the word I would use to describe him is dork. And you will find him, like, you'll just walk into a scene, right, and it'll say, like, okay, now go and investigate this room. And you'll just look at this dresser, and he's just curled up in there taking a nap. Or like you'll hear like a clang, and everyone will turn their head, and he's just sort of like Spider-Man standing upside down, hanging from the ceiling, just like totally chill, just like rest, like sort of grappling against the wall. And you'll move over to him and you'll ask like, "What the hell are you doing?" And he's like, investigating for science."
And quick question, because I know that this has like Sherlock Holmes looks pretty traditional, but Watson is like a 12-year-old girl with pink hair or something.
So, can I say spoilers for the first like 120 seconds of the game?
Oh my god, that's pushing it.
No one is ever going to play this game.
Yeah, this game's never coming over. The victim in the first case is Watson, but the Watson character is played by Watson's, effectively his niece, Iris Watson, who is basically on par with Holmes in terms of intellect.
Yeah, I figured.
And is a 12-year-old girl with pink hair.
Yes.
It's pretty fascinating. Also, the opposing prosecutor is basically a vampire straight out of Twilight who drinks wine from a goblet and taunts your character mercilessly.
Fun fact about that Japanese the vampire drinking out of a goblet is every year for Halloween class in my high school, I do like a drawing thing where I tell them, draw the vampire in the top left window of this house or something. So I have to read the instructions and draw the vampire. And almost every student draws like a vampire, like a really handsome guy in a cape holding a goblet of blood. So that is the Japanese shorthand for a vampire, is a really attractive dude holding a goblet.
So he's not like actually like a blood-sucking vampire, but the character is portrayed as sort of like vampiric, and he's preying on you. He almost gets a guilty verdict after you press one statement in your first trial against him. He cheats like unbelievably. I don't want to spoil too much on the off chance that it does come over, but the characters, everything is just so crazy and so over the top. And again, it's one of the most stylishly produced, well-animated games on the 3DS in 2D or 3D.
That's cool.
Is it 3D polygonal kind of style?
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of lighting effects where the screen will go dark and then a spotlight will show up over what Holmes is pointing at, and he'll spin into view in the foreground, tip his hat, snap his fingers, spotlight will change, and then the screen will just get basically be replaced with like a newspaper, and then you'll hear a typewriter typing, and it'll say like topic 1, conclusion, and then what he summarized, and then it'll move over to topic 2, and then the newspaper page will fall down, and then you'll move back into the conclusions, and then when Holmes is done observing, you go in and you try and find rebuttals for his conclusions based on the evidence.
Syrenne, have you watched any of the BBC Sherlock show?
I have.
Are there any similarities with how that Sherlock is portrayed, the genius part of it or whatever? How he sees...
Lack of social skills, but
right.
those manifest in different ways. In the BBC show, that's very much just sort of not talking to anyone and just coming off as an asshole.
Right.
This Holmes is very overeager and will get in your face about everything.
Okay.
It comes off actually really, really funny. I'm really enjoying it. I haven't finished it yet. Again, some of the Japanese is so archaic that I scan a kanji dictionary, never appears there. I have to do my best to try and figure it out.
It's so old, it's actually Chinese.
I'm guessing it doesn't show like any furigana or anything on it.
It does on the absolute most obscure.
So for those listening who don't know, so in Japanese you've got your like regular easy alphabet and then really complicated difficult symbols called kanji, where like a certain word will have its own individual kanji.
Yes.
And for like lower level games like Pokemon or Animal Crossing, a lot of the kanji will have beginner translations written underneath them.
Yeah. Or any level 5 game. So when I was playing Layton versus Ace Attorney back when it came out in Japan in like 2011, late 2011, early 2012, when I played through that, because that was technically a level 5 developed game, even the Ace Attorney segments had furigana over everything.
Okay, that's cool.
So it was an absolute breeze. And then I get to this, and it's like, whoa, boy. Hello, big leagues. So definitely not import friendly, but definitely an amazing game, and I really, really hope Capcom brings it over, because I think that even just as a visual showpiece, it's a great sort of swan song for the 3DS. Like, Capcom really has aced how to milk the 3DS for all it's worth.
Nice pun.
Yes.
Aced it.
So next game, this one's for Ty.
Yeah, baby.
Okay. So, in case people don't know, Ty has a fun segment called Fake or Real. Do you want to explain what Fake or Real is, real quick? Just give it a pitch.
Yeah. So every now and then I do this game where I name and/or describe a Japanese video game. Sometimes it's real. Sometimes I made it up, and it's always bizarre.
So, what would I tell you, or how would you react if I told you that there is a Japanese PS4 and Vita game that has a 65-word title in English that is rated 17 plus exclusively for sexuality?
Is it real or did she make it up?
Yeah, that sounds pretty plausible.
Yeah. It's by D3 Publisher, and this is the English name. Summertime High School, A Young Man's Notes. How a new exchange student like myself ran into his childhood friend on the school tour, comma, then for some reason became super popular with the girls for his daily scoop on the school photography club, even though he only takes panty shots, and what he thinks as he goes on dates during his summer of island school life.
DX version 2.
My girlfriend is the president.
Yeah, I'm
So-
looking at like this game. Like I'm just doing a quick look at it on a few websites here, and it
What,
breaks
you
formatting.
typed that into Google already? Wow.
I've got good Google for it. I've got like summertime high school, a young man's notes, hit enter, and it's like
Yeah.
it breaks.
Did you just get muted? I think we lost Cyrus.
Did we? Did we?
Rip in
Oh,
peace.
there we go. You're back now. What were you saying?
That it's like the name is so long it just breaks the formatting on a bunch of websites.
Oh yeah, no. It's if you can look at a logo. Here, I'll get on camera just for a second. For the live, for the
Oh, you've
video
got the
view.
physical game?
I've got the physical game. That's the logo.
And all that. Oh my god.
It's a lot of words.
It's 65 words in English.
I'm pretty sure my students like won't even submit most of their essays to be 65 words.
So, yeah, this is a real-ass physical PS4 game that I am holding.
I'm watching the trailer now.
It's...
It actually got quite nice visuals. I like the bouncy color to it.
I assume bouncy being,
I have not watched any videos, but I regret my choice of words immediately.
yeah. So, here's the gist of it. So, this is an open-world game where you're controlling a generic anime male character. And you have a camera around you at all times. And you bump into a childhood friend, as the title says, and you join the photography club. And people don't trust you at first, so you go around and you take some shots of scenery, and you start building up your relationships with your classmates. So,
Yeah, I see him taking pictures of like shrines and Stonehenge and stuff.
oh yeah,
I guess
but-
Stonehenge is in Japan now.
yes. But
Now I
you
see
can-
him like Solid Snake crawling into the girl's bathroom.
Yeah, so you can, at any time, this is what the D-pad does. The D-pad hitting down makes you crawl on your back, crawl on your stomach. You hit left or right to flip up onto your back, and then you can sort of crab walk, like, on your back around Japan to take pictures of girls' panties.
All right.
So,
I'm
if
gonna
you
put a picture on Twitter like right now, but please keep
Okay.
talking.
Fake.
Yeah, if you get caught by the girls or by onlookers, the girls will chase you, or the security officers can chase you, and you have to get away from them. And that's sort of the crux of the gameplay.
So it's highly realistic then.
That said, the development staff, it's very clear that this used to be two different games, because the open world is heavily populated with hundreds and hundreds of distinct characters with their own stories, and you can go do fishing, you can do swimming, you can go on hikes, you can interact with all these different characters and help them out, you can pursue like actual full emotional relationships with all the girls. Or,
Or you can just take pictures of their pants.
yes,
Brilliant.
those are the two games at combat here. And so I bought this against my better judgment, because I thought, well, PlayStation 4 has live streaming, and wouldn't it be a hilarious joke if I just suddenly started live streaming this and people on Twitter could just jump into my Twitch stream and we could all have a laugh at the creepy Japanese game.
Banned from Twitch.
Banned from any PS4 sharing functionality, including screenshots.
Wow.
You can't
Correct.
take screenshots, you can't capture video, and you can't stream.
Well, with proper streaming equipment, they can't really stop you, can they?
It's HDCP.
Yeah, it blocks the inbuilt PS4 streaming thing.
Yeah, but it's HDCP'd, so you just like Netflix, so you can't actually stream it out over HDMI.
Oh wow, good game.
Unless you buy a multi-$100 HDCP stripper. Because
There's
I tried
always
that.
a
Because I
way.
have a streaming box.
Just
Wow.
just get an iPhone and record the TV screen.
Yeah.
Job done.
So I was basically left with this like 8,000 yen per PS4 game that I couldn't stream, which is the intended purpose. But that's when I've started to. Yeah, that's when I realized the actual open world, and so I've actually been having a lot of fun with this, not doing what the game name intends, but doing what's in the game, which is just sort of, there's just
Alright.
this Japanese city, it's like this
So-
island, and you can go around and do whatever.
You can do whatever. Check out my Twitter, Super Cat Drugs, for the highlight of the trailer.
Oh yes, I retweeted that. Yeah, at
Let's
Super Cat
go.
Drugs, or
Man,
my own.
you guys are act fast.
Yeah, so this game, I'm going to put on video one more time. This real-ass PS4 game that had
This is
limited
real, guys. This is where it gets real.
a limited edition code for first-run physical copies that came with basically nude DLC.
Of course it did.
It's skin-colored underwear that covers maybe about 10 pixels.
Man, why didn't Microsoft pay to have this exclusive?
But
Oh,
yeah,
God.
it's
Yeah,
PS4.
get in on that Galgun crowd.
Holy
Yeah.
shit!
It's-
I just got to the part of the trailer where the kid is running from the cop at like full
Yeah.
speed.
Yeah, that's welcome to this game.
Well, on that bombshell,
Are you sure I still got 3 more games? So not as pervy.
I better
Yeah,
tweet out this picture too.
there's a there's a station which I go to every day, and there's a big sign in Japanese that warns against if you're wearing a miniskirt, watch out, there could be perverts taking pictures of your pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
So
what's
th-
way creepier than seeing that in a crowded subway is seeing that in like a backcountry road.
It's why all iPhones make the shutter sound when you take a picture, and you can't turn that off.
Oh yeah.
True story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sign in Akihabara on the train station, like the beware of upskirts sign, that
Yeah.
was one of the first photos I took in Japan in total, was that sign.
Was that sign with a picture of girls' underpants in the same picture?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, yes, Syrenne, obviously we'd love to hear about all of your games, but that could
You're
be the
kicking
whole
me
show.
off after that because that was too much.
No, that's a good way to end it.
Way
Schoolgirls,
to make us just
underpants.
stop and go home and reassess our lives.
Right.
That's
I am also retweeting Ty's most recent photo.
Yeah, I
which-
just tweeted out another picture.
yeah,
Please
it
enjoy
is.
it.
It is the character just running away full speed.
It's got the
Uh,
anime zoom lines and everything.
Yeah, the
Okay.
game is truly something else.
Okay, people, I'm reeling this in. Oh yeah, that's the end of new business. Hope you enjoyed that. A very wide breadth of games, some involving underpants, some not involving underpants. Yeah, things for all people.
Come on and slam, and welcome to Japan.
Okay. So, by the way, this bit isn't going to be in the show, but I think what I'm going to do is going to end with the Iwata section,
Okay.
by the way, because I totally forgot to do it at the beginning.
I don't know, I think it's appropriate to just jump in on it now after that underpants part.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's really tasteful.
Okay. So let's go on to new releases, then the charts, and then we'll move on to news. Okay. Okay, and next we're going to just run through a few new releases here in Japan. Obviously, the Daigaso Band Brothers P debut debut. This is a new version,
Yes.
and this is coming out in the 3DS eShop. Is this an eShop exclusive thing?
Yes.
Yeah, so Daigazo Band Brothers P came out on the 3DS a while ago, like 2 years ago? Maybe 3 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty old. It's a pretty decently old game. And it's a really, I love the Daigazo Band Brothers games. They're really fun music games. They're kind of more geared towards making music than playing music a lot of the times. And but they're really cool. And so the game is kind of weird though. This Daigazo Band Brothers P, and it got a lot of flack for it when it came out. Is that when you buy the game like full copy in stores, it only has 4 songs in the game. But you get a download token for 100 free songs.
100 tomatoes.
Yeah,
the weird tomato system. I remember this.
Yeah,
But they go bad.
And they go bad. Yeah, I remember this. We talked about this on the telethon with the 8-4 guys. I remember this.
So
I shouldn't have invested my college fund in tomatoes.
I
You don't
bought
see that
this.
expires.
I bought this, and yeah, I had 70 tomatoes left over or so, and they're all rotten by now.
So terrible idea where you get the 100 songs, your DLC code runs out after a certain amount of time, and you're
So this new version, this debut, gives you all the 100 songs? Straight up?
No. So the debut version is an eShop exclusive. It only costs about 200 yen.
Oh, okay.
And you only get the 4 core songs. You get no free tomatoes.
Mhm.
And
You can buy them,
so you can buy them separately after you have these 4 core songs.
but you also don't get the music creation tools.
Oh wow, I didn't spot that part. Okay.
Jesus.
I mean, they're not going to give that to you for 200 yen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you just get the 4 songs and the ability to purchase new songs. You don't get the music creation tools. You don't get the 100 tomatoes. And, yeah.
So, yeah, just like not like free to play, but like almost free to start kind of.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
to see what the game is like.
Okay. Well,
And-
we were going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this in the news section, but apparently there's a bunch of songs that have been added for free.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
probably not even worth bringing up in the news if we're going to talk about it here, because it's pretty
Yeah. Might as well talk about it now.
Yeah.
But there's a limited window on them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's Splatoon music, Fire Emblem If music, and
Splatoon music, Animal Crossing, I think.
yes, the Animal Crossing Happy Home designer theme, and then the Splatoon theme, and then the Fire Emblem If theme.
Yeah, and if you go to Nintendo, NCL, the Japan YouTube channel, they actually have a bunch of these up on, so you can listen to like the Splatoon theme done in Daigazo Band Brothers, which is pretty cool.
And it should be mentioned that Daigazo Band Brothers, because it's a music creation tool, all of the songs are built using the software.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it gives them a
works
very
really well.
unique Daigazo Band Brothers sound to them. There's the
Yeah.
full vocals and full audio suite that the Splatoon theme usually has is stripped down to this really basic kind of chiptunes almost sound.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Good stuff. The other new release, kind of unusual. This one is another arcade game, Luigi's Mansion Arcade. I remember this kind of being the location test was done quite a while back now. I remember tweeting pictures of this out, but the person who did the location test didn't actually take pictures of the game themselves. They just took a picture of the unit. But now you can actually watch videos on YouTube. Somebody's actually gone and played it. So you actually have the Obacuum, which I forget what the English name is. The ghost vacuum.
Poltergeist.
Oh, Poltergeist, right? Yeah. You actually, it's like 2-play. We've got like these huge, poltergeists, and you can, aim it at the screen. It was quite a bad YouTube video that I saw. I couldn't. But it kind of looks like the 3DS, Luigi's Mansion 2, but maybe slightly up-res kind of thing. But anyway, it looks kind of cool, and I'll definitely play this if I can find it. It wasn't in Akihabara the other week.
Yeah, it was in none of my local haunts either, so...
But it's a big machine. It's like a sit-in, like a boxed-in kind of.
Yeah, so usually my arcade like it's kind of a date arcade where you bring your boyfriend or girlfriend. So it's got a lot of these kind of easy enough party game almost things. And so
You're,
like,
you're the only guy there on his own.
Oh yeah, I bring like one of those full body pillows just so I don't feel so left out. But it's got like all these big machines like Let's Go Jungle and the AKB-48 zombie shooter game and that kind of stuff. So I was really expecting this game to be here, but it wasn't.
You shoot the AKB girls to save them, right?
Yes, that's the explanation we'll go with for today.
That's right. Does anyone know of any other retail 3DS or Wii U games that are out this week in Japan?
Everyone is just holding their
Can't think of
collective
anything.
breath for home.
God.
Can't think of anything.
Probably some Yokai Watch thing. There's usually
Oh
one
yeah,
out every week.
Yokai Watch Busters. I
I
think that
wasn't
came
sure if
out
that was the one, but yeah, I saw a big
Those
clip of
came-
that in
yeah.
camera.
last
Those
week. I
came out
think.
the same. Last week alongside Daigyaku Saiban.
Yeah, I saw TV adverts for that and the Busters game. So
Yeah, and as we said last time, that game actually looks pretty decent. It looks like a fun game.
well, I don't know about that, but anyway.
I thought it looked pretty good. It looked like it was more fun looking than I was expecting.
Is he wearing like a Ghostbusters kind of costume thing?
Yeah, he can wear a Ghostbusters costume, in it, which I think is adorable.
Yeah.
Way over the head of every Japanese kid playing it.
This is like completely off topic, but like I was in this department store the other day, and I was in this I was in this lift, and like I don't know what you would call it, a pipe organ version of the Ghostbusters theme came on. It just felt very inappropriate. It was kind of like like a clothing store section of it, but full of all of these old Japanese women, housewives, just like just walking along, bopping my head to the Ghostbusters theme. Very bizarre. Yeah, and then next we're going to move on to charts because we can't think of any other games that have come out. Maybe these charts will tell us. So yeah, number 10, there's the PS4 Godzilla game, which apparently is not good.
Hot trash.
There you go. And then there's Minecraft on everything except Nintendo platforms. That's the Vita version. And number 8, there's the Taiko no Tatsujin, aka Drum Master. That's number 8. That's on the Vita, I think. Yes, Vita version. Number 7, we have the first Nintendo game. Rhythm Heaven. Rhythm Heaven Zabesto Prasu. That's doing pretty well. 343,000 so far. Bit down from last week. But yeah, 17,000 in 1 week, which is pretty good. Number 6, we've got Fire Emblem. Let's do the English title. Fire Emblem Fates, Black Kingdom. No, that's not the English title, is it?
No, it's
What is
Fire
it?
Emblem Fates, Birthright and Conquest.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. If you want to hear more about that, you should listen to RFN with Syrenne, who talked about it. That was the one game she's allowed to talk about.
Well, that and Xenoblade.
That and Xenoblade, right? Yeah. Well, Danny's talked enough about that, I think.
Yeah.
So Fire Emblem's doing all right. 363,000 total so far. Number 5, Splatoon. It's always, I don't know, it warms my heart to see that still in the top 10 in Japan. A shooter made by Nintendo.
On the
In
Wii U.
Japan. On the Wii
What
U.
a world. What a world.
What a world we live in. 430,000. Slowly getting towards the 500,000. So yeah, that's number 5. Doing pretty well. And number 4 is a game Syrenne just talked about, The Great Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Naruhodo Ryosuke no Boken.
It is not Phoenix Wright.
Sold 23,000 this week, up to 159,000 total. It's slowly getting up there. Number 3, this it's already out in Europe, but it just came out in Japan. Yoshi's Woolly World, or Uru World, as it's barely said in Japanese. That's brand new. That just came out. So it sold 31,000 in its first week, which is okay. I'll see how.
The amiibo are still on the shelves.
Yes, for the video viewers, I'll show you something. at the end of the episode. Number 2, very surprising, this one. The PS4 version of Arkham Knight sold 48,000. So Batman pulverized Yoshi. Poor Yoshi. So I guess that was a little bit delayed in Japan. But yeah, the PS4 version is getting crazy advertising on TV. I don't know if you guys are noticing. Like a Japanese comedian dressing as Batman, doing bizarre things in restaurants.
That is a pretty standard Japanese advertising tactic.
Yep. Get a comedian, make him do something stupid in a costume partially related to the game you're selling. And then number 1, Cyrus's favorite game in the world, apparently, Yokai Watch Busters.
It's true. I know one character from this game.
Red Cat, White Dog versions. Both versions have been put together here. 220,000.
And from what I recall, the dog version outsold the cat version, just like Splatoon.
But yeah, almost 1 million units in 2 weeks.
That's ridiculous for like a side story
it's
game.
Not even the core game; it's a spin-off game in a totally different genre.
So yeah, Yokai Watch doing the whole Pokemon thing. Even if it's not a main game, it still sells shitloads. There you go. Boom. So yeah, there's the charts. Interesting that we talked about most of the Nintendo games in this top 10, which is pretty cool. Yoshi's Woolly World will get talked about when either me or Danny buys it. Danny may have already bought it, actually. I can't remember if he said he did.
He would.
I know he's got the amiibos. He's got all 3 amiibos. He's told me about that.
No, he only has 2. His wife or his son or someone has the other one.
No, he doesn't have any sons that he knows about. Yeah. So yeah, that's the charts. So let's move on to Japanese.
Oh my god.
You'd love it. So who wants to talk about Evo?
Yeah,
No?
baby.
No one? No one? I can't hear anybody. No?
No. I just spent my entire weekend watching Evo.
Yeah, like I had planned on maybe doing something else, like anything else, but I literally just lay out on my futon the entire weekend watching fighting games.
I had up to 7 or 8 streams open at once.
The Matrix, yeah. But for Evo.
Not to mention I was well busy operating scrub quotes.
Oh yeah, man. If any of you listening are in any ways interested in fighting games, do yourself a favor and follow Scrub Quotes on Twitter. It's amazing.
Yeah, also, Famicast is the only platform I've admitted to running scrub quotes on, so you guys keep it on the DL, because, eventually I'm going to get murdered. Yeah, for taking the piss out of someone.
Fighting game fans, are they actually good at fighting in real life?
No.
Actually, it's really, if you look at a lot of American players, those guys are built like tanks.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say, there's a lot of shit talking, but I've only ever heard of one fight ever in fighting game history.
That's brilliant.
And that was captured on stream. Shoutouts to Noel Brown, was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he punched a guy on stream.
Because he lost?
Well, I think it was because this guy was hassling him all night, and also, I think he has a short temper, among other things. I'm pretty sure he went to jail because he punched his girlfriend and his girlfriend's new boyfriend that was not him. Or something along those lines. I don't know, but...
Fighting games.
Noel Brown punched a guy on stream.
But every month or so in Tokyo, there's a fighting game meetup in Tokyo. It's kind of like an American-themed fighting game tournament, so it's all American games. And a lot of the non-Japanese speaking players go to this thing. And it's a lot of them are from army bases and stuff, because that's a huge amount of Americans live in Tokyo area are from army bases. So they're all these huge, muscly dudes all playing these fighting games. So it's quite
All playing as Guile.
Yeah. Da, 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 da,
Pretty
da,
much.
da, 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 da.
That's why they don't play Street Fighter, because everyone just plays Guile all the time.
Boring. So were there any Nintendo games at EVO?
Oh yeah, we have Smash Brothers and other Smash Brothers.
Brilliant.
Yeah. You got Melee and Smash 4. Rip in peace, brawl.
Yeah.
I
Will be
think
never
off
talked
stream-
about again.
I think on stream they had Splatoon.
They were okay. Nintendo sponsored the event, and well, not solely sponsored, but they ran a lot of Splatoon ads on stream.
Yeah, I thought I heard that they had like a Splatoon booth though.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
Just for funsies.
Yeah,
Yeah, like a lot of games companies do run their booths to show off some competitive games, and they were really pushing like Splatoon is an esports game on those ads they were running. So maybe they did have a booth trying to convince people to play it.
Maybe I had a page of side tournaments open. There were over 20 games on side tournaments at Evo, as opposed to Catherine. That
Yeah,
game
shout
is
out to
legit.
Catherine. That is such a shockingly good tournament game.
competitive Catherine was trending, and I tweeted out right then that I could die happy. Like,
So Nintendo games.
Yeah. So in Evo, like they have I think they have 9 main games this year. And,
Yeah, 9 main games.
So Ultra Street Fighter 4 is pretty much always the top game. It had 2,220 people this year. And
Yeah.
but the next 2 games, top 2, like the second most entered game and the third most entered game were Smash for Wii U and Smash Melee,
Crazy.
with like 1,900 people for Wii U and 1,800 people for Melee.
Was Brawl never ever at any tournament ever?
They ran it, and it was
Wasn't it at
not
one?
really a good experience.
Yeah.
Okay. So is this already kind of good news that, you know, if Wii U has been there, it's like a good sign that it could be, you know, competitive and stand the test of time? We'll not have to look at shitty GameCube graphics the rest of our lives.
CRTs.
Yeah, like
There was some salt from some of the organizers. I think one of the Cannon brothers tweeted out, "Melee players, there's got to be a better way," along with a picture of a mountain of CRT TVs.
Yeah. I love the GameCube, but, you know, it's kind of boring to see the same game being trundled out, you know, for 10 years running.
Well, you're a scrub then. Get good.
Just at least make it HD. That's
Hey, that's on Nintendo. It's not on the players. Put out HD Melee.
you don't play.
That'll sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, I mean, what's the oldest game they have? Is Melee the oldest game at Evo?
As a main event, yes.
Well, there you go then.
As a side tournament, you know, they're still running like ST.
like Street Fighter 2 for those.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a hyper fighting side tournament.
But you know what I mean. Like of all the major games, that's by far the
of all the
oldest
main
and
games,
crappiest looking, right?
Melee
Yeah.
is 100% the oldest. It's like 15 years old at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Because like when you're looking at like, you know, best matches ever on YouTube or something, it doesn't matter if you put it to 1080p or 480p. It doesn't change anything.
Right.
You could be looking at a video from 10 years ago or, you know, last week. It doesn't matter. But
Well,
anyway,
It's a good game, and good games last forever.
that is true. That is true. So who won both of those tournaments?
0.
0 won Smash 4, and what's his name? Was it Armada that won Smash 4, or am I tripping?
It was Armada.
I mean Melee. I mean, yeah, Armada won Melee. Hungry
Yeah, it was
Box
Armada
got
won.
second, representing that Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuff?
Yeah, dude.
Amazing.
Puff is usually a pretty top placer.
Yeah.
Does he use Sing at all?
Yeah, Sing is
Yeah.
awesome. 'Cause it's like a one-hit kill.
No, that's rest.
Oh, I'm thinking. Oh yeah, fuck Sing.
Yeah, I didn't see Sing used once.
Okay, so just the rest. A well-timed rest can kill a dude, right?
Yeah.
So the top
There's some good
winners,
setups for it.
say the top three in Smash Bros. Melee was Armada was using Fox and Peach, and number 2 was Hungrybox using Jigglypuff, and third was PPMD using Marth and Falco.
Yeah. Hungrybox making second was a little bit of an upset. Like, he beat someone he is, like, I think literally never beat before in the top 8. So
Cool.
that was arousing. I got some good scrub quotes out of that one. Because, like, so Hungrybox was definitely playing to win. He was playing, like, super lame. He was digging in. He was hanging off the edge for, like, 30 seconds at a time. He did not care.
Yeah, the crowd was actively booing him a lot, which is awesome.
Yes, delicious scrubs. Getting some death threats on Reddit.
Is
So
that is that called, like, ledge hogging or something?
yeah, whatever. I don't speak
Edge
scrub.
guarding.
Yeah.
But what's wrong with it? Why people complain?
Nothing is wrong with it.
So from a
But
gameplay point of view, it's great because it means you're hiding on the ledge, you can't get attacked without the other guy getting counterattacked. So it's a sound tactical move.
Yeah,
But if
in
you're
Melee,
watching
it gives you a lot of invincibility.
Yeah. But if you're a person watching it, it's boring as fuck because the guy is just hanging on the ledge for, as Ty said, like 10 to 20 to 30
But
seconds.
it doesn't work in Wii U, right? Because
Yeah, the
they change
mechanics
it?
on the Wii U are a bit different there.
Right.
And honestly, I don't know enough about Melee or Brawl or Wii U to really go into the specifics of the differences, but yeah, you can't do it as well in Smash 4.
Oh man, there were so many great teaching moments at Evo. I retweeted an article a little while back. I forget what site it was from, but the title was "The Dangers of Playing to the Crowd." All right, but they didn't mention Hungrybox, and they really should have, because he displayed a lot of mental toughness. I think a lot of it comes from his experience at from many tournaments over God knows how many years. Because Melee is now officially an old man's game.
Yeah, it's a thing that you don't notice, you don't realize until you're there on stage. Because I played a lot of fighting game tournaments, and at one of them in France, I was on the stream to it, like 1,000 or 2,000 people, and it's this huge weight. Is like, because everyone's watching you, judging every move you're doing, and for him, like, he's on stage, he's doing all this shit that he knows everyone hates. He's got like 1,000 people in the crowd all booing him. And he knows if he changes his attack style, they'll stop booing him, and they might like his game more. But he has a higher chance of losing. So for him to just suck it up and hang there with the crowd booing him to have a better chance at winning is really, really mentally tough to do.
Yeah, in a certain other game, the exact opposite thing happened when when everybody started booing. So in this other game, the name unimportant, a certain player was down to 1 pixel of life, and the other player had almost a full life bar. So full life bar player is like, okay, I'm just gonna sit across the screen and hold down and back until the timer runs out. I will sit here for 2 or 3 fucking minutes. I don't care. So, and he started doing that, and then everybody started booing. And then he started to freak out, and then he lost in one of the most embarrassing super comebacks in video game history.
Yeah.
My favorite story that I heard from this Evo was the guy who stood up thinking he'd won.
Yeah.
Like, started chanting to the crowd, punching the air, and then turning around and realizing that they'd got another round and he lost.
Yeah, that happened in top 8 in Guilty Gear, and that was funny as heck.
Yeah.
That was even shown on like ESPN and stuff, like American Full Sports TV were showing that replay.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen pop-offs go wrong before, so that wasn't so new to me.
And fair fuck's name, I think his name is Wochige? Was it?
Yeah.
Woshige.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's like he took it in good spirits, which was pretty good. He didn't when he saw what he did, he was like laughing.
Yeah, lucky for him that happened in winner's bracket.
Yeah, because he didn't utterly like get super salty over it. He just he took it. He made a stupid mistake and he kind of
Yeah, and then he became the crowd favorite. Right after that, they were cheering for him the rest of the way.
Did the other guy just start pummeling into him when he wasn't looking?
Immediately, like as soon as he saw the other guy wasn't coming back, he's like hammering start button, getting through the cutscenes.
Oh yeah, training mode combo. Let's go.
Awesome.
So yeah, a lot of teaching moments at Evo. You gotta be mentally tough, and you gotta be merciless.
There you go. Well, I'm happy for you guys. Finally, they did a fighting game tournament.
Yeah, I know. It's great, right? Maybe they'll do another one next year.
Who knows? In other news, we have non-fighting game related.
And
Sorry.
worthless.
What do we got here? So yeah, Dragon Quest. Does anyone like Dragon Quest?
Nope.
I played the first one when I got it free from my Nintendo Power subscription. Honk honk.
So
I played 7 and 9.
okay, so as we all know, Dragon Quest X was an online game, and that put a lot of people off. Maybe long-term fans didn't actually go for it, or maybe they did. But anyway, Dragon Quest X was a Wii, and then Wii U, and then PC, and then iOS, and then 3DS game. But it's it was a MMORPG, right? So you had to be online all the time to play it, even though it did have a small offline section. But anyway, Yuji Horii was recently interviewed, the series creator, and he said Dragon Quest XI, aka the next major home console version of the game, will not be online. It will be an offline, traditional version of the game. So obviously the speculation now is which console it will be. My guess is probably PS4, because let's face it, it's selling the most throughout the world, and it's a Japanese company, and yeah, it's not going to be
One.
It's not going to be for Xbox, is it? And it's not going to be for Wii U. Well, highly doubtful anyway. So yeah, if you like Dragon Quest, I guess please look forward to that. In the meantime, you can play that Dragon Quest Heroes game or whatever it's called, the
Dynasty Warrior style.
Yeah,
Dynasty
right.
Warrior.
Yeah, that's coming out in the West around the same time that the second game is coming out in Japan.
Well, yeah, it looks great, but obviously it's not a Dragon Quest game, is it? So.
Now it's a Warriors game.
There you go. Same as Zelda Muso isn't a Zelda game.
Yep.
Next up we have okay, who added this one?
I did.
New weapons for Splatoon?
Yeah, so there's been a recent Splatoon TV ad was put up on Japanese TV, and it's just kind of the usual Splatoon stuff. Shows a bunch of kids inking a bunch of squids, and but it kind of flicks through the content really quickly, and it shows off a bunch of new stuff that hasn't actually been added to the game yet, which is kind of neat.
Huh.
So, like we mentioned before about Splatoon, that they periodically, like once a week or once every couple of weeks, they add in new guns, they add in new levels to the game, to kind of to keep this rolling wave of new content coming out for the game to get people to keep playing it. So this trailer showed off some totally new weapons, which is pretty neat, because usually the new weapons are just like slightly modified stats of previous weapons.
Right.
But this new one, they showed off like a big, massive Gatling gun ink shooter. So like the Heavy from Team Fortress 2, with this like comically oversized Gatling gun. And
nice.
One character using one of those, which I am totally going to be trying out.
We're talking like Predator style,
Yeah, like a full
thing,
Predator carving up the
yeah.
jungle Gatling gun. got
Awesome.
that cute like Splatoon aesthetic, so it's got like a big water keg on the side of it that's full of ink. And then the other
Awesome.
weapon was like a bucket of paint, where you're just splashing paint on people. So it's just
A
like
refilling bucket.
yeah, why not? If your issue with this game being unrealistic is the guy has a bucket that's full of paint, then we have to talk about this.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
You can
There were
read
a bunch
about.
of other stages too, like a school stage, and I think it was a suspension bridge. So
I like the one that's got like a Japanese kind of apartment buildings in the background.
yeah, that's the stage. That's coming out soon. I'm really excited to try that one. It's like the really strange, like a vertical design stage, which is neat.
Cool. Next up,
Actually,
I guess
before we drift past Splatoon, some other pressing business on them that I forgot to add to the agenda. Of the Japanese Splatoon recently finished their another Splatfest.
oh, is this the tea one?
Yes, so they had lemon tea versus milk tea, and this is another one of their questionable branding.
Right, it's completely sponsored by a company, right?
Yeah, these two famous tea, or there's one famous tea brand you'll see in every 7-Eleven in Japan. So they had, which do you think is better, lemon or milk tea?
I just saw a picture of this. Like they changed the ink to like a creamy white and a yellow color, right?
Creaming white that every pervert has been waiting for them to add to the game.
I mean,
Ew.
yeah, those two colors. I mean, you've got piss yellow and creamy white.
Yeah, it
No.
Yep. So, is
and
that
of
all the?
course, in a landslide victory, Seaman.
Oh God!
No.
No. So yeah, talking about 7-Eleven. If you want free crap for your Animal Crossing, I think this is the Happy Home Designer. They
Yes.
are having Monster Hunter themed stuff in Animal Crossing.
Well,
which
not
is-
just that, they're having actual 7-Eleven stuff, including a 7-Eleven villager.
Yeah, this
A 7-Eleven
happens,
staff T-shirt.
this happens in a lot of games actually, where they add in like a Fantasy Star Online has some 7-Eleven gear you can wear, and you can
Like,
customize your apartment.
There's
with.
a horse that's wearing, like a 7-Eleven staff uniform,
Yeah.
and you can, and it comes with like 7-Eleven lamps and store shelves and like a freezer.
You can buy 7-Eleven themed Gundams, like the model kits.
That's like the Japanese version of Gamer Fuel, isn't it? It's like everything's just 7-Eleven branded instead of Mountain Dew branded.
One of you guys should pick some of those codes up for me.
I
Just
will
saying.
do that.
I thought this was you had to go to the store and use the link.
Maybe they've got like their 7 spots, which is you
Yeah.
bring your DS and you stand a certain spot in the store and you can download codes.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, there's definitely one of those in my 7-Eleven recently started.
Damn.
They've always sold download codes, like for Nintendo games there, but recently they had the little, the Wi-Fi link symbol show up. So
Oh.
Yeah. I guess you have to be there, or reprogram your router to do that or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess the next the next thing, the amiibo cards.
Oh, yes.
Was that who added that one?
I did. So, Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer and Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival both use these amiibo cards that come in blind bags, grab bags of 3 cards, one of which will be rare or very rare, and everything else is going to be common, so you're going to get a lot of repeats. And they're 300 yen for the 3 cards, and a bunch of people pre-ordered in Japan and import, and retailers were notified this last week, hey, there was a massive shortage on Nintendo's end, so cancel most of your orders for these cards.
Somebody did the calculations about how many you would have to buy to get the full set, and it was ridiculous.
If you never got a repeat.
Even if you never got a repeat, it would still be like, was it like over several hundred packets.
So there's 3 waves. Each wave has 100 cards, and each pack has 3 cards. So yeah, you're buying hundreds even if you don't get a repeat.
So yeah, good luck with that. The people who want to get every single one.
Yeah, good luck. But just like, what the hell is actually going on with amiibo production at this point? Because it's not the chips. Like, the chips aren't the expensive thing or the difficult to produce thing. So I'm just left wondering, what the hell is the term amiibo cursed that the figures and the cards are both undergoing different types of shortages and manufacturing issues?
It's pretty impressive that Nintendo managed to put a shortage on trading cards.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive, like.
Little packs of 3 cards.
Are these out, by the way?
No, they're
They
out
come
next
out.
week.
They come out in like 4 days or something.
Because I'm noticing a hell of a lot of TV adverts at the moment for that Happy Home Designer.
Yeah, Happy Home Designer and the cards come out in like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, they're on
Okay.
Thursday this week in Japan.
That makes sense.
But
Okay,
yeah.
that's your amiibo wrap up.
Yeah, I
lucky
will
if you find
say, while we were laughing at Amiibo Home Designer last week, I saw like they're advertising a bundle in big camera of like the game, the 3DS reader, and a pack of cards. It's kind of got into my maybe pile of maybe I'll actually buy this game.
Don't do it.
I know it's still a maybe, but the game actually looks kind of fun, and it might have simple enough Japanese that might help me like learn stuff.
The Animal Crossing New Leaf had Furigana over everything.
Cool. So I'm guessing this will be the same, and I might enjoy this game more than.
Syrenne, what are you doing? You making
All
him buy
I'm
it.
doing is stating my past experience with Japanese 3DS Animal Crossing games.
It's only up to Cyrus to use that information.
Yeah, I'm not telling him that he should or shouldn't. I'm saying that I am, and if the 7-Eleven content is a download code, I want one.
And Cyrus, I'm saying don't do it. So next thing, to wake tie up.
Yeah, please.
F-Zero.
Yeah, baby.
There you go. So yeah, something we've been meaning to talk about for a while. The whole Critteron almost made an F-Zero thing. We didn't really talk about that. So apparently, like, there was some tweets sent out by an ex-developer, Critteron, who apparently got the call from Nintendo, like, hey, do you want to make F-Zero for Wii U launch? And basically it came down to the fact that the timing was kind of off. They were finishing Need for Speed Most Wanted on the Wii U, and they kind of wanted to move on to other things, so they declined it, saying that, you know, it wouldn't be fun to like use someone else's IP. They kind of had enough of using other people's IP or something like that. They wanted to do things on their own. So it ended up not happening. And then, I don't know, for some reason Nintendo took this as, let's not ask anyone else to do it. Let's just not do it ever again.
Yeah, you
Another
had
F-Zero
one shot Criterion, and you sank this franchise.
Yes.
Rip in peace. I mean, they should just hand it off to Sega. They did a great job with it, give or take one horrible glitch. So
I mean, at least Nintendo doesn't consider the series dead and buried if they were considering a new installment.
well, they do now probably.
I don't know, maybe they're saving it for NX at this point, because, I don't know, maybe it's too late.
I think that's
They
kind
still
of
do another arcade release.
what worries me about the NX at this point is that everyone is saying, "Oh, well, this game isn't coming out. Maybe they're saving it for the NX," and it's like every franchise.
Yep. Well, this
Wii
time
U
we're going to have,
is
yeah,
sinking.
we're going to have a 3D Mario, maybe a Zelda port. The Wii U one could be ported. What else could we have? We might have the F-Zero.
Metroid.
And yeah, the Metroid is definitely coming out on the NX. So yeah, it's looking like a hell of a launch for the NX.
Yeah.
Yep, an entire generation of consoles.
Star Fox Zero Game of the Year edition.
Okay, let's not get carried away. But yeah, that could also happen.
No, Pikmin 3 Game of the Year edition is the actual one.
Yeah.
POKKEN Tournament.
Okay.
Realistically, though, I'm pretty sure POKKEN Tournament is going to be a Wii U game pretty soon if they haven't already confirmed it.
I mean, it's running off of basically a Wii U.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine like summer next year it'll be on consoles.
We'll hear more about that before the end of the year, I'm sure. Okay, and I think that wraps up the Japan news section. We all have that, right?
No.
Is this thing on? Okay, so we're going to move on to some listener mail next, right now.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, so we got a email, straight up email, which you can send via Famicast at nintendoworldreport.com. Much like this guy did. Oh God, I deleted his name from the,
Oh no.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to look this up. I'm gonna feel really bad if I don't find out his name. Please stand by.
Yeah, so it's really hot.
Jesus Christ, it is freaking. I'm melting here, literally.
It's 9:40 a.m.
Yeah, I'm sitting on. I've got this like fold out futon couch thing, and it's so drenched with sweat, like literally like the dark patches under me. It's awful.
And is it?
No.
Yeah, with my AC on, it's still almost about 30 degrees.
Shut up.
I have a window open. I've got 2 fans, the AC.
I think my fan would blow away my mic if I turned it on, so it's off, and I'm sitting here slowly cooking in my own juices. My poor amiibo are probably dropping in value as this miasma of sweat is eating away at them.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah, I know. Amiibos taken out of their boxes, horrifying.
Yeah, I'm never gonna buy an amiibo, but I'm sure looking forward to buying the whole set of Killer Instinct figures.
Actually, yeah, damn it, you beat me to it. I meant to say that, like, it was either on this show like a few months back or at one of those fighting game tournaments in Tokyo. I was talking to Ty about how he's always laughing at amiibo, saying it's pointless, people are idiots for buying them.
Yeah.
And I said, the second Killer Instinct announced a small array of, like, small Killer Instinct figures, Ty will be the first person in line to pick every one of those things up.
Yep.
And then what happened? Killer Instinct announced a little suite of amiibo-style figures, and Ty is biting at the bit trying to get to them.
Yeah.
So...
What's Ty buying? Ty's buying amiibos now?
Yes, he is. Killer
Yes,
Instinct amiibo.
The Killer Instinct amiibos.
Awesome.
Well, some people might remember the other month when I spent like over $200 to get a rare video game figurine. So yeah, rip in peace, me.
Oh yeah, I was seeing a thing recently as well, just talking about American amiibo. Actually, no, I'll talk about something else. It's still talking about amiibo. But you know that Skylanders game that's coming out soon that has the amiibo crossovers in it?
Yep.
So it's got like, you buy the Wii U version, it comes with Bowser, and if you buy the 3DS version, it comes with Donkey Kong. And so that means if you want to get both special amiibo, you have to buy both versions of the game, which is like, say, almost $100 to buy both of them, maybe like $80 to get both.
It's like $120 for both.
Yeah, okay, so like $120 to get both. But they also announced recently enough that there's dark editions of both of those figures. which are like repainted versions, and they get different colors in game too. And those dark editions are limited to dark editions of the starter kits. So
Yep.
if you're a full-on Skylanders or full-on Amiibo collector, you're going to have to buy 6 different versions of the game to get all figures.
You're screwed if you're in 2015 and you're a full-on Skylanders collector, because there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them.
Yeah, but even like if for people who have been following along with the game since the start of Skylanders.
Wait a
like,
minute.
Buying them every game, whatever.
I don't know if you guys follow the forum, but isn't forum moderator Uncle Bob like a guy that had all the Skylanders?
I have no idea.
Okay, I found him.
I briefly got into Skylanders. They're currently in a box, me trying to sell them at the moment.
Okay, guys. Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Okay, I found this guy. Okay, so on to listener mail. So yeah, we got a straight-up email here sent to the Famicast email account, which is famicast@nintendoworldreport.com. And this is from Jefferson Cuba, or Cuba. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. And he's from Brazil, and he apologizes that English isn't his first language. So there's a little bit of rephrasing I'm doing here, but doing my best. So he says he's a typical Brazilian guy, loves his FIFA and Pro Evo, and he has some few questions here. Maybe this is just for me and Cyrus, because I don't think anyone else on this podcast knows about real football, right?
Touchdown.
Woo!
Bo Jackson.
So
Yeah,
We're talking about Irish football here, and we're talking about points and goals and slithers and stuff.
Slam dunk.
no, we're not talking slithers. Are you talking about, what is this, Harry Potter?
No, hurling, man. Hurling's got slithers.
Okay, you've lost me.
Oh, I know what hurling is.
Stop making up sports. So yeah, he wants to know, after the disastrous 4-1 early lead to the USA, I think he's talking about the Japan team here. He says, do you think that the head coach of Japan appealed to experience over skill, changing Naomi Kasumi to Homarare Sawa in the first half? Cyrus, don't you agree?
Yeah, so he's talking about the Women's World Cup here.
Yeah, the Women's World Cup, yeah.
It was a bit of a disaster, all right. I don't know if it was particularly down to this one change, but let's say yes, it was.
He wants to know if the Japanese people are proud of the national women's football team, or if they just don't care about football. And no, they do. And actually, they've got a nickname. They call them the Nadeshiko Japan, which is kind of like, the beautiful ladies team. And yeah, they are proud of them.
I also did some investigative journalism on this, meaning
Hey,
I
yo.
asked a few of my students and some of my teachers, and they all said no one cared about the women's team.
Not now. Well, when they won,
Oh, damn.
didn't they?
They all
win?
basically said that when they're winning, people are interested in them.
Yeah. Well, they won last time, didn't they?
Cares. Yeah, but like the moment they're winning, before and
Yeah.
after, no one cares.
That's terrible. Next question he says about Pele. He said he's more respected in other territories other than Brazil. And there's a lot of people who hate him. But maybe people hate Pele in Brazil, or some people do. Anyway, he says, is there an example of like this in Japan? So my investigative journalism brought up one guy. So a Japanese guy who is liked by some people and hated by others. Baseball player called Yu Darvish. Has anyone heard of him?
Nope.
He's a mixed race guy. He's Japanese and he's not actually American. It's maybe Iranian, something like that. Sorry if I got that wrong. But anyway, obviously he's one of his parents is Japanese, but there's kind of there's a racist contingent in Japan who don't consider him properly Japanese and therefore kind of ignore all the amazing things that he's done. He's an amazing player, and he's I think he's thrown like a perfect game, which I'm not even sure what that means. Pitched a perfect game? Does that make any sense? Ty, you're American. Syrenne, you also American.
Yep.
Pitching a perfect game. Anyway, he's done something amazing. But, some people don't care because he's not 100% Japanese. So that was the best I could come up with anyway. So, yeah, some people suck. And the last question is video game related. He says, the worst thing about Metroid Prime Federation Force isn't the internet nonsense. I think he's maybe referring to the petition. He says, the sad thing is we're not going to have Mario Strikers 3DS. Anyone else agree with me? Yeah, because the developer is the same, obviously. So he's upset that we're going to get Chibi Metroid instead of Mario Strikers.
We are getting Mario Strikers. It's that blaster ball thing.
Yeah, except you shoot the football instead of actually kicking it.
It's the same thing. It's an evolution of the ideas that started in Mario Strikers.
I like how what's that racing game that's based around football, soccer? It's doing the rounds at the moment. It's really popular.
It looks really fun, actually.
Rocket League.
Rocket League, there you go. I think it's hilarious that Americans are getting all around this game. It's like, wow, it's so much fun. It's like, you can pass the ball to people and set people up and you kick it in the goal. It's like, yeah, that's football. That's what we've been trying to tell you. Yeah, but as soon as you throw cars and explosion, it's like, fuck yeah, now it's football. It's crazy. You Americans, you're crazy.
Are you ready for some football?
But yes, anyway, thank you, Jefferson. And he ends with that he really likes the Famicast and will continue to advertise it here in São Paulo, Brazil.
Of course, it's the best podcast on the internet.
There you go. I like the fact that we have somebody in Brazil who listens to us, even though they can't buy video games for less than $1,000.
Well, the Wii U doesn't even have an eShop there.
There you go. Thank God we're not on the eShop.
But no eShop.
We're not on the eShop, thank goodness.
They have the 3DS eShop, but not the Wii U one.
Hey, you wouldn't know that, right?
I know as a developer.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, that was a good letter. Thank you, and keep them coming in. If you want to send us a Life in Japan type question, then yeah, do that, and we'll answer it on the next show. So next up, we'll move on to some Twitter feedback. The first couple here, kind of the same topic, is from Seric and Donald Theriot, who's now staff. They both mentioned that the Famicast and Nintendo Free Radio both reached episode 60 on the same day. So yeah, Donald was looking forward to his 6.5 hours of episodes to listen to, because we had a massively long episode last time, and I guess NFR had an equally long podcast there. And next up, Addison also giving us some love, as he always does. Addison Webb. He says he was listening to 8.4, and then when he saw the Famicast was up on iTunes, he switched over and started listening to us.
Yeah, like I just said a minute ago, we're the best podcast on the internet.
There you go. And there was also a few guys who were begrudgingly telling us that we should stop talking about the Xbox One all the time, and I don't really see that, because there's only Ty who's got an Xbox One, and
we should talk about it all the time. I mean, people ask what I'm playing, and I'm playing my Xbox One, right?
We did have a 20-minute segment on Project Zero today, so...
Yes. But that's not even an Xbox One game.
That's it is now.
But yeah, it's funny, because, a lot of people throw shit at Ty for things that he says. Ty is one of 3 or one of 4, on a podcast. It's good to have that variety of,
Yeah,
right?
And I do have kind of a career going based on making people mad.
Yes.
I'm not sorry. Xbox One is the system to own. Deal with it.
Right. Well, the Splatoon gate. We're not going to open that wound again, but
No, open it right up.
Ty comparing
because I was right. Ty was right.
by comparing it to Team Fortress 2, and then
Yeah, and like we were talking about, they're adding in the heavy chain gun into not Team Fortress 2, into Splatoon soon. So
Yeah, and then James tweeted me this wonderful TF2 mod video where they just
Right.
made the Splatoon straight up.
yes, there's a Splatoon mod for Team Fortress 2. It's amazing. Look it up on YouTube. So yeah, that's Twitter. I didn't mention, but yeah, at the Famicast if you want to tweet at us for a little short feedback or fun things like that.
Oh, I got a great tweet not long ago from a Michael Flowers.
Hey-o.
He said he just dug up this brand new unopened 12-pack of Mountain Dew Game Fuel Halo 3 promotional tie-in. He said, just dug this up in my room. It's never been opened. Never
That's
drank
amazing.
any. I'm asking him how much he wants for it.
Unopened, right?
Yeah, a whole 12-pack. Ready to go. With master halitosis, like, right on the box.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I just, like, visualize, like, me spending too much money to send this over to Japan and then having, like, a little taste test party over at,
the hospital.
I don't know, Akihabara somewhere. Well, go to Game Bar A button and have a compai with this disgusting corn syrup swill.
Hope it's next to a stomach doctor.
Yeah. I mean, I'll drink all that stuff. I don't care.
Yes. Also, a special mention to all the people who tweeted at the Famicast to tell us that RFN stole an episode name from us by accident. That was quite funny.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, James, you do all the episode names, right?
I do, yeah. So apparently
Good job.
now I'm naming RFN's podcast as well.
Well done.
Yes. So yeah, that's the Twitter roundup. Please to enjoy. So let's wrap things up. So obviously, the beginning of the last episode, we had a little 10-second silence for Satoru Iwata, who passed away just before recording the episode.
I was not invited.
Yes. So obviously, lots of lots of podcasts have tackled this subject. I mean, on Nintendo World Report alone, we have several podcasts, with detailed descriptions of what Iwata did and the games that he worked on and his history and all the good stuff he did. Probably you should listen to Connectivity, the Nintendo news report section, with James Jones wearing a suit for the video. They obviously went in depth, and RFN also talked a bit about it their last episode as well. So I didn't want to, just regurgitate again, what everyone has already said. But what has come out over the past couple of weeks, obviously, people at Nintendo themselves. The funeral has happened, and it was actually the one part of it was actually a public one, and several people on my Twitter feed actually attended that. So that was kind of unusual for me to read that people were attending his funeral here in Kyoto actually. So what happened was Sakurai among many other people put his thoughts into writing, and I thought it was quite touching what he said, and I wanted to read out some of the things that he said. So Sakurai, obviously Smash Brothers creator, he was described Iwata in 5 ways. The first thing he said, he was a man of virtue. Where a normal person would get annoyed or angry, he would never show such emotions, and he would instead analyze, organize, and offer ideas. He was someone who could bow his head and apologize for things that weren't even his fault. I was often worried about his stress levels, but he always talked with a smile. Listening to stories about stuff that he programmed, like he reprogrammed Earthbound when no one else could do it, things like that. Kind of shows how he could just like straight up see what to do, when the pressure was on. He could just like, do amazing things, He was a programmer, and as well as a CEO, which is pretty cool in my eyes. And next thing Sakurai says, he said he had a brilliant mind. Even when people would talk at length or without focus, he was still able to quickly say, so what you're trying to say is, and quickly summarize their point. He was able to see the heart of people and things. He was a master of simplifying them so that anyone could understand his point. He could immediately call on changes to improve, and he had no doubt that many people were saved by this quality. He was also a man of effort. Even though he didn't start out in the managing field, he read numerous management books, and he would ask for advice from necessary people that would take to heart, and he managed to become the president of Nintendo. What he gained from his years as a programmer allowed him to take many long-term projects to successful fruition. I think another cool story was the Pokemon story, where he basically recoded was it gold and silver? So like it crammed the whole of red and blue inside the game or something like that.
That was a surprise when that happened.
Yeah, they had. I think the initial thing was the game was so big they had issues compressing it, so he had a shot at compressing it, and his compression was so good. To prove it, he put the entire original game onto the cartridge too.
I just had this amazing image of just Iwata just saying to this programmer, get up out that chair, let me handle it. It's kind of like
for perspective, Pokemon Red and Blue used up every last byte of the cartridge.
Right.
Like when they removed the debugger, which was like less than half a kilobyte, they still had room, and that's why they stuck Mew in there.
Right.
And
kind of an app, yeah.
And Iwata's compression was so good, they stuffed all of that on top of gold and silver.
Amazing. And next thing he says, he was open and generous. Like things like Iwata asks in Nintendo Direct weren't things that necessarily required the president of Nintendo to stand in front and do, but there was always a risk of frivolous criticism. And yet, by being the spokesperson, I believed he showed the importance of properly conveying a message to his audience. Which is true, you don't see many CEOs doing that, getting up and talking in front of, the fans on a regular basis like that. And, those Iwata asks are being, catalogued, and obviously there won't be any more, but, you can go back and read them. And I think somebody's making a book out of them as well, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually think those Iwata asks, now that people have seen the reaction everyone had to his death.
Yeah, I think people will go back and read them. Yeah.
I think people will go back and read them, and other companies are going to start doing something similar. Because, on a horrible impersonal business note, clearly these Iwata asks and him being a personal spokesman for the company really did good things for the company.
It'd be interesting to see the next Nintendo Direct. Obviously they're gonna probably talk about Iwata, but the guy who's took over the past couple. I think it's Masamoto or something. Obviously he will continue. Heading up the Japanese Nintendo Directs. Because now when you think about it, maybe there were signs that Iwata's health was declining. If he wasn't showing on the last two, and then he was a puppet in the E3 one, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And the last thing that Sakurai mentioned, he said he was empathetic. After he became the president of Nintendo, he would write emails to all the employees and communicate. As hard as he was, he took a stance to try and treat everyone as equals. He would often ask third parties to see how people were doing. As an individual, he had no self-righteous qualities. So you can tell, Sakurai respected the guy. I mean, they worked at HAL together, probably, right?
Yeah, they worked on Kirby together a lot, I think.
I mean, yeah, Iwata also programmed for the original Smash Brothers as well, right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing. So yeah, Iwata, 55 years old, dies incredibly young, and yeah, fuck cancer. It sucks. That's young. And yes, he will be missed. We will not say anything bad about him. We have said things in the past, but out of respect, it's in the past. What's in the past is in the past.
Yep.
Okay.
Play Kirby's Adventure.
Yeah.
Get in
Play some
there.
game. Yeah, I think we'll play the episode out with some Iwata inspired music. But before we do that, we'll just we will give our Twitter handles out. If you want to follow me, I'm at FamiComplicated. Ty?
I'm Super Cat Drugs.
Sairus?
I am Selsai.
And last of all, Syrenne.
Oh, I'm Sycoraxic98, SYCORAXIC98.
There you go. And thank you to the people watching this live, and for the people listening to us on the audio stream, go back to the YouTube page, NWRTV, and you'll be able to see some bonus video content, which we're about to start doing now. But for the audio listeners, peace out, and we'll see you next episode. Bye.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is probably going to break the stream again, so let's turn the videos on, show something cool, and then get out of here.
Video.
Boom!
Party time.
Okay, I'm going to show my t-shirt again, which is now covered in sweat.
I think my t-shirt is more sweat than fabric at this point.
Mine's good.
Yeah, mine pretty much transparent at this point.
Mine is
Oh, you
Nintendo, but sure, Skullgirls, go buy Skullgirls on various platforms.
You can
All
see my
platforms.
you can see my Yoshi wool Yoshi amiibo, which I'm torturing behind me. Talk to me, tell me.
Splat Squad.
I'm still repping that Final Fight Streetwise from E3 2004 or whatever year that was.
And I am really feeling it. As you can see, I have an army of restocked shulks.
Are they all Shulk? They're all
They are
Shulk?
all shulk.
You scalping son of a
I
bitch.
am the opposite of scalping. I got these for a giveaway on another podcast, so I'm sending them over to America, and he'll give them away for free.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention the amiibo contest.
There's an amiibo contest?
We did one on the last episode.
Ah.
Danny was giving away a Wii Fit trainer. That will be handled next episode. But we, if you, okay, maybe I should do this as an edited-in point. The winners will be announced on episode 62, or possibly in some other fashion.
What a well-organized contest.
Wow.
It was Danny's contest, not mine. Anyway.
It's all Danny's fault.
Yeah, it's playing. Yeah, exactly. Okay, and that's the end of the video show because we all need to have a shower now, I think.
Man, I need to go and just burn this futon thing. I don't think I'll be able to burn it, though. It's so damp with sweat. It probably just wouldn't finish.
Yeah, wouldn't ignite.
Summer Games Done Quick starts in 2 hours, so
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
ready for that.
Tell you what else starts in 2 hours? Me being long asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh
didn't
my God.
get any sleep last night because I had to stay up the whole thing.
Yeah, I would normally cash in some serious Summer Games on quick hours, but not tonight.
You're missing Sonic Boom, though.
Anderson. Well, Sonic Boom, you can do that in like 20 seconds or something, can't you? Just no
Type-
glitch out of the sky.
50 minutes.
50 minutes, okay, close enough.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording, so bye.
Laters.